Hello hooligans, welcome back to my third attempt at filming this video. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the power duration curve. So the power duration curve is essentially a tool that coaches and sports scientists use to look at kind of the strengths and weaknesses of an athlete as it relates kind of to energy systems. So essentially you have time down here on the x-axis and power or speed or pace or whatever output metric you pick here. And so basically what we know is that if you have an athlete go really, really fast, they can only do that for a short period of time. So say a cyclist can hold 1,000 watts for 10 seconds, and they can hold 500 watts for a minute, and they can hold 450 watts for 2 minutes, and 400 watts for 3 minutes, and you kind of get this curve that looks like this. So you have a very, very rapid decline in performance, in power, as you increase time. And then you have this big, long tail. So basically you can kind of think of like this is the, well, to step back, we know that anaerobic and aerobic energy systems are kind of both used all the time. But as you get out to long durations, like 60 minutes, you're looking at like 99% aerobic. And then as you get over here into the really short time domains, you're looking at 99% anaerobic. And so as a result, you see in this, you see kind of what you would expect to see when you're thinking about the anaerobic energy system over here. Really high powers, really fast fatigue, not a whole lot of ability to hold that for a long time. And then out here, you really see this long tail of as efforts get longer and longer and longer, you're able to, your power doesn't drop very much. And so that's the aerobic system. We know you can't hold a whole lot of power with the aerobic system comparatively, but you can do it for a really long time. So this is, some average athlete. This is the basic shape of this curve. And you'll see that all athletes have this basic shape. But when you really get down into the nitty-gritty details about it, you can kind of see, you can look and see what an athlete's strengths and weaknesses are as it relates to either this fictitious average person or to their sport. So if I had an athlete who had a pretty low comparative max power, but then if you look out here, they can still, for 60 minutes, they can still hold 250 watts. They can still hold the same number of watts as this average athlete, but you can see that their max is pretty low. So what's this tell us? Well, this tells us that their aerobic system is pretty strong comparatively, but their anaerobic system is comparatively weaker. So this athlete is going to be really good at things like ultras, but probably not as good at something that's fast descend, fast descend, fast descend. And actually, this athlete will almost always be beaten by, the blue line will almost always be beaten by the black line, because the blue line has all the same power at 60 minutes, but much better power at all the other time domains. So if there's any kind of surges at all or changes in terrain, the black athlete will win. So when we are doing this, we're going to look at this in two ways. One is we're going to look at an athlete as it compares to kind of an average athlete, because we know generally we want, for most endurance sports, we want some kind of balance between anaerobic and aerobic. And so we're always looking to see, what is this athlete's weakness compared to kind of a general, average athlete. But then we're also going to look at this athlete in terms of their sport. So if this athlete in blue is an ultra runner, great. That fits pretty well. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to bump the whole curve up a little bit, but not really worry too much about how high this max power is. So we're gonna kind of let the curve kind of come up like this. But if this athlete wants to do something like cross-country Olympic style mountain biking, which is, 3-minute bursts of power followed by descents, then we're going to want to essentially take this curve and we're going to shift it like this to give them higher power outputs and get them more up to, you know, maybe it's even something like this for like a cross-country Olympic mountain biker profile. So we're going to want to shift that up a little bit. So this is just the basics of the power duration curve. There's a lot of things that we can do with this. Essentially, like I said, essentially this is a way for scientists and coaches to compare and contrast athletes and populations as far as their relative contributions of energy systems and abilities to hold power. And we will talk more about this later. Thanks. Have a good day.